Hi, I'm Jason Ray with SimplyHome with today's tech tip. Today we're going to be talking about the medication dispenser and commonly asked questions or troubleshooting tips that may go along with this device. One of the most frequent questions we get is issues with the alarm going off and why an alarm would not go off. So once you have your device, there are a few things to check to make sure that they're set up properly so that you can determine what the cause of the issue is. So first and foremost, you can remove the cover off of the device. You should see the time displayed here. And then a couple things you're going to want to check. If you look in the top left corner here, you see in the plastic where it says PM, and there's a light on behind it. So that's when it is in the afternoon, and when it's PM, that light will be on. When it's AM, it will be off. So make sure that is set to the proper time. Make sure your time is correct. The second thing to check would be your lights down at the bottom. These are showing which one of your alarms are active currently. To turn them on and off, all you have to do is press and hold the button corresponding to the alarm you want to set. Hold it for 3 or 4 seconds and you'll see that the light comes on, and now that light is on. You'll also want to check and make sure that the times you have set for each one of the alarms is correct. So if you press one of the alarms, it'll display the current time set for that alarm. And again, you're going to want to check not only the hours and minutes, but the AM and PM. And you can adjust using the hour, minute, and AM, PM buttons on the side over here till you get it to the appropriate time. After you do that, again, make sure that your lights are on, because if you're holding this button down, it can turn back off after a few seconds. Next, we're going to talk about proper tray alignment within the device. If you open the door on the front of the device, you actually see the compartment containing where the medications go, and you want to have it lined up right in the opening right there. If it's not lined up properly and you see more than one compartment showing right there, simply open the device, and this tray actually lifts out. So you're going to want to align this. If you look down, there's a little notch in the bottom part of the tray which will align with the opening right below this tab right here. So you're going to line all those up. So this side with the notch in the base part, along with the side right above it. Make sure all those are lined up to make sure that your medications are aligned properly. As you can take these out, you can get additional trays and lids that come with them, so you can actually fill these off-site, bring them in, and swap them out. One thing to make sure of when you're doing that is that when you put it in, you're going to want to line it up so that you have an open tray right here, and you want the next medication dispensing time to be the first one counterclockwise from that opening. So if you have a medication dispensing time at noon and it's 8 o'clock in the morning, and you have a medication dispensing time at 6 a.m., you're going to want to have that noon medication time as the first one, not the 6 a.m. one, because you're already past 6 a.m. You want the next one coming up to be the first one available on the slot here. So once you have the tray aligned properly, the other two things you're going to want to check are this white bar right here. Before you put the lid back on, you want that to be all the way up. While you have the lid off, also check and make sure all the alarms are active that you need. And then, if your white bar is up, you want to have the door closed on the lid when you put it back on. And simply line it back up, give it a turn, lock it, and you're ready to go. The time not being displayed on your device is a common question that we receive. That's going to happen in a couple of different situations. One is what you'll see here, where the time is not displayed, but the colons in the middle of the device are flashing. What that means is the battery is plugged into your device, but it's not getting power from your wall power supply. So first thing to check is to turn the device over and check the plug on the bottom. Make sure that it's plugged all the way in, so just give that a push and make sure it's plugged all the way in. Then follow the cord over to the outlet where the device is plugged in and make sure that it's still plugged into the wall. If both of those are plugged in, you're going to want to check the outlet and make sure that it is still working properly. Make sure that it's not controlled by a light switch. So one thing you may want to do is just move it to another outlet and try it in that location and see if it works there. the first thing you should do is have your battery plugged in. So if you just remove the door, you can see where the battery plugs in right here. Just make sure that that is plugged all the way in. And then you can replace the cover. The other situation that you might experience is if your device says off instead of displaying the time. So if you come to your device and you have just an OFF on it, that means it's actually in sleep mode or it's off currently. And your alarms will not work when it's in this state. So the way to get it in and out of the sleep mode is to press and hold the hour button for about 4 seconds. So if you see this off on your screen, just press and hold this hour button, and in a few seconds it should go back over to displaying the time. Occasionally we get calls from customers whose alarms will not turn off. One thing you want to make sure of when the alarm is going off and you go to access your medications is that you open the door all the way until you hear it click. And I'll show you how that works inside the unit. If you take the top off of the unit, you see this white bar right here, which is actually what the door slides against when you open it. So when this pops down, and we'll watch it again here, when it's time to take a medication, the door has to slide all the way open and completely click that bar in order for it to register that the medications have been accessed. So if you access your medications and the alarm continues to go off, make sure that you open the door all the way up when you go to access it. We commonly get asked by customers what types of things don't work with our medication dispenser. One of those things is nitroglycerin. Don't ever put nitroglycerin in the device. Another obviously is liquids. Don't put any liquids in any of the trays. And also PRN or as-needed medications. There's no way to access those types of doses utilizing the device as it stands. So the final thing is overfilling the device. So you want to make sure that you don't overfill the device. What I mean by that is if you were to take the top off, if you fill up the trays and you have pills that stick out over the top of any of the sides here, that's too full, and you're going to want to separate those trays because there's not enough clearance when it spins, and that could cause the device to jam. So just separate out some of those larger pills into the next dispensing time. Set another alarm for that, at least 10 to 15 minutes away. And you're going to want to be careful if you do that to make sure that you change the alarm time on the device. If you have a second dispensing time within 5 to 10 minutes, what's going to happen is, by default, the system has an alarm time for 30 minutes. And if you set another alarm time within that, and the person doesn't access it, the medications will spin again, and they won't have the ability to come back and access those meds that they needed. So to do that, just simply check your alarm time by pressing the alarm test button. So you just press and hold that real fast. It'll show the, by default 30 minutes. So if you need to change that, you can just press and hold the alarm test button. You can see the default set to 30 minutes, and you just hold down the minute button, and it will cycle through some different options, and you're going to want to set that to 3 minutes. And then just make sure the next dispensing time you set is, again, 10 or 15 minutes after the initial time you set to give the person enough time to access that initial medication. If you have any other questions or issues, please feel free to contact our customer service team at 877-684-3581. Thanks a lot.